everyone. I'm Ostuni. I had to just turn my stage light over in that direction on. But welcome to a very, very special episode of Warframe What's My Loadout. I started this series because I wanted to do something until this particular day came, and it has finally come. This is the culmination of it, but not necessarily the end of it, so don't worry about that too much. But today is the episode, everybody. This is my Hydroid Prime layout. Now, I know I did a video in the past about my layout for the original Hydroid in a video about why I mained Hydroid and how I got started maining him. But this is actually updated, and there are a couple of things that are new about Hydroid, a couple of things that are new about just everything in general. So, without further ado, I'm going to actually show you guys something really cool you guys may not know about Hydroid, especially on PC. Now, if you guys notice, I actually have these segmented off areas that are actually different colors. Now, in case you guys want to know how to do that, the way you're going to do it is you're going to get the Hydroid Grax skin. And then, whenever you get the Hydroid Grax skin... Oh geez, hold on. My bad, guys. I don't know what happened there. I pressed a little button by accident, so that kind of happened. But basically, what you want to do is you want to get the Hydroid Grax skin. It's a 10-gen skin, pretty nice. I got it before Hydroid Prime was released, and I wanted to see how well it would be incorporated, and I actually think it's pretty well done with this. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get Hydroid Prime Grax skin, or Hydroid Grax skin. Put it on Hydroid Prime, and then the key thing here that you want to do is you want to go to Toggle Prime Attachments, and you want to turn that on, and you will actually get all the stuff that happens on the lower body, the little flaps right here, if you can see my cursor, and right here, and you'll also get this little extra chest piece and everything like that. And overall, I think it looks like a really nice combination. If you guys didn't like the fact that most of his body is gonna be one color, and some people can work with that, so good for you guys. But if you guys want a little bit more choice, this is a good way to go. I may see what he looks like with the Immortal skin. I don't know if you can actually change if you could do something similar with that, but I'll check. If anybody knows, leave a comment down below. I'm kind of curious. If
Tenno, a new alert has begun. It will be marked
Space
on
Mom, you
navigation.
always do this to me, right in the most crucial of moments. But if anybody knows if that's a thing, then let me know in the comments below. I would like to know, so that if it is possible, I'll get it and I'll show you guys. If it's not possible, I'm not going to waste my time on it, because I'm pretty content with this setup. But as far as attachments go, I actually went slightly more of a different route for this. So as you can see, my primary color is white, so I kind of did the Targus, but the primary color on is white. The trim is black, or purple, and then this little part right here underneath the emblem is black. I still got my classic green energy color. That's the whole theme of it: white, purple, or white, black, purple, and then gold trim, and then green energy. So that's kind of what I got there. The only thing that I'll say is even with just the regular skin and everything like that, you might have to do some adjusting as far as the colors. For instance, this is the whole value. This is actually the white that you get whenever you go to all the way over here, and this is classic saturated. But if you actually go that extra notch of white up for your accessories, they'll look a little too bright compared to the rest of the Warframe. So that's kind of my little suggestion there. But as far as the actual attachments, Targus for the greaves and the shoulders. However, I actually found that the Katir Foros chest piece actually looks pretty good, and it's actually in a pretty good place right underneath the Prime Helmet's beard, which looks pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that to really work that well, but I'm glad I tried it. it's definitely a nice combination. Let's see. And the Cyandana that I am using is the good old Uru Prime Cyandana. In case you guys are wondering about that, that was from the Reaper, or not Reaper, Necros Prime, Prime Access. So that's going to be gone for a pretty good while. So if you didn't get it, sorry, it's just going to be a while before you see it again. Which is why I definitely suggest to anybody who wants to get into Fashion Frame, just go ahead and get all the Prime accessory packs if you can somehow, because like you never know when a accessory pack will look good on one Warframe or not. Because even if it doesn't look good on like your current favorites, there may be one that comes out where it's just like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But enough about that. Let's get to the actual build of Hydroid Prime. This time I'm not forgetting. Alright, so I've actually changed up a few things between Hydroid to Hydroid Prime, and the biggest one is that I actually have gaining or growing power as my aura slot. And applying a status effect with my weapon increases my ability strength by 25% for 6 seconds. And I have two very good status-heavy weapons, so I'm able to proc this pretty often. I have Power Drift as my Exilus. I get 15% ability strength and a 30% chance to reduce knockdown, which is a pretty nice little bonus. As far as everything else is actually pretty nice and simple. I had to form this twice, by the way, to actually get to this point, so you guys are probably going to have to invest a little bit into it, especially if you have primed versions of stuff. Even if you don't, you'll probably have to form this at least once. So, you got Intensify combined with Power Drift will give you an extra 45% strength, which is good. Streamline for that efficiency costs less. And here's the cool thing about Hydroid Prime, is with Redirection and Prime Vigor, he is tied for the highest shield count in the game next to Frost Prime, and that is so cool. I like having high shields on my Warframe. Makes them feel a lot bulkier. I know that a lot of people would say that health in combination with armor is a good way to go, but actually I kind of have that too, because I have Vitality and I have Steel Fiber, so I have 960 health and 475 armor, which I think is a pretty nice bit of bulk for Hydroid in addition to the shields. Then I have Primed Flow for the max energy, and that gets me to about, let's see, 563. So I should have about, I want to say 600 by the time I actually max out Prime Flow, which probably ain't going to be anytime soon because Prime Vigor was a pain, and most rank 10 mods are pretty much a pain, but primed ones are even more so. But I'll show you guys something else too. I actually have Corroding Barrage. This is on my main build. I've just, like, at first I didn't really care about it too much, but I can actually use that 100% proc chance for corrosive to my advantage with a weapon that I do have, so you'll see that in a bit. And for configuration B, and this is one of the only Warframes I've actually done this with, is pretty much everything the same, but I have Pilfering Swarm instead. So basically this would be what would be considered my farm build. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. I knew I was missing something. So that is actually something interesting too. I want to let you guys know that this, I now have 0 capacity on this, so I still have 2 ranks for Steel Fiber and I have 2 ranks for Prime Flow, so that means that unfortunately I'm going to have to form this thing again. But I'm probably not going to do it for this augment slot, because even though these augment slots, both of them are good, I may come out with a layout that gets rid of both of them and put something else on there. So who knows? But let's get to my actual weapons. The Cernos Prime. Cernos Prime is one of my favorite bows because it's kind of reminiscent of Ivara's bow, which can actually do multiple shots in a line, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to show you guys what I got for that. I have Serration, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, and you'll see here in a second why. I have Speed Trigger, pretty much a requirement for bows. I still don't have Primed Shred yet. I'm going to be getting that pretty soon, though, from Daily Login. I have Hellfire and Storebringer because this is more of a straight damage-based bow, for sure. I have Point Strike to increase my critical chance. And you may be wondering to yourself, how did I get it up to 120%? Well, that's actually because of this Riven mod right here. I get another 94.5% critical chance. I get 54% toxin, and I get, I think this is actually supposed to be the bad part of it, is the reload speed, in which there is no reload speed for a bow. You're taking it out of the quiver and you're going. That's pretty much it. So that is not even a negative. It's pretty much just all positive. I know that there are some Riven mods that you can get that don't, that have 3 positives, but I think for what I have, I don't think it's worth really trying to roll and roll and roll. I think I pretty much hit the jackpot getting that. So next weapon is the Staticore. Staticore is probably my favorite secondary weapon in the entire game. It is just such a cool weapon to play with, and it hits like a truck. It is so just insanely powerful. So I'm going to show you guys what I've got. I've got this mod, which is a Riven for it. It has plus 54.4% heat damage and 55% toxin damage, which means by default I am getting gas damage, which isn't necessarily bad. I don't mind it at all. This weapon can get 3 different damage types without even actually having a Riven mod on there, so it's whatever to me. So I'm going to show you guys what the rest I've got. I've got Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, and Lethal Turret. Pretty simple stuff. And then I have, this is actually with 4 Forma on it, just to let you know. So this thing comes with no already polarized slots. You're going to have to do it all yourself, but trust me, it is worth it. This thing is just fun to play with. Next, I have Frostbite, Jolt, and Scorch as my dual element mods. And I think the thing is, though, is that no matter how I actually change these up, the damage is going to stay the exact same. Like, I can't change the damage type at all. Like I said, it doesn't really matter to me. This thing hits like a truck no matter what it's going to use as its elements. And here's the interesting part that I'm going to show you guys. I have Gunslinger on here for fire rate. Now, I know that some people would actually argue to put, let's see, what's the mod? Let's see. Lethal Momentum on there for projectile flight speed. I have found that Lethal Momentum doesn't really help that much. Like, it increases it by a little bit. 40% in the grand scheme of this that's already a slow-based weapon projectile. Like, it's not going to really make that much difference. If it was, like, in the middle of the road as far as projectile speed, I would explain, or I would be able to, like, justify it a little bit more. But trust me, whenever you see what happens whenever you have fire rate up on this thing, and you can do just like a flurry of projectiles, you guys may actually want to try Gunslinger on this thing instead. But the last weapon, this is the weapon that has been on my Hydroid and now Hydroid Prime layout the longest. It is the Bow Prime. So I'm going to go through what I've got as far as this goes. I have all 4 of the dual element stat mods. I have a solid 85% status chance. And that's the other thing too about that. about the static core. I didn't even mention it. 96.6% status chance, very, very high. Almost guaranteed to proc stats. Almost. Not quite, but almost. Enough to where you won't really notice it too much if you don't proc it like every once in a new moon, pretty much, by the amount of projectiles you're actually going to be slinging. But yes, Bow Prime, 85% stats chance with all 4 mods on there. I prefer to use Clashing Forest. Personally, is a stance that allows me to actually like traverse a room. So that's why I really choose that one. You guys are free to choose the Flailing Branch if you want to, and it'll actually save you a Forma. And I have 2 on here, so hypothetically, if you do like Flailing Branch, you'll only have to use 1 Forma to actually get all of this on there, which is pretty good. Alright, so beyond the stance, beyond the 4, I have Primed Heavy Trauma, I have Primed Pressure Point, Condition Overload, because I have a lot of stuff that's high status percent chance as far as weapons, and I also have Corroding Barrage with this particular configuration that I'm going to be running. So depending on how much I actually use Tempest Barrage, I can always have at least 60% damage if I go straight into a crowd that's being knocked down with the Bow Prime. And the last one that I have, the last thing that I have is the... Jesus. It is thundering over here, so sorry about that, guys. This is the Riven mod that I have for Bow Prime, and basically what it is it is basically guaranteed to give you a blast damage because it has both heat and cold on it, which I don't mind. I'm a fan of it. Knocks people down, knocks people away. It's fun. And it's 80 and 92% on both of them, so it's a pretty big amount that you're actually getting too. And then you have 95.1% critical chance. It's not something that I see like... It's not something that I would prefer, but it's not a negative. Not really. Like, if I can just go ahead and get crit, I'll take it, but I don't think I'm going to re-roll this, just because, like, I like the blast damage. The only way that I would do it is if I got something that gave me a 100, like put me at 100% status for this. That's the only way I would re-roll it. So that's for the weapons and the Warframe. I actually said a while back that if I ever did have a layout that I actually like to use a specific companion for, I would show you. So I will show you. This is the last piece of the puzzle for Hydroid, and this was actually really good for whenever Hydroid was a lot flimsier than he used to be. And now he's definitely not, but this is still really awesome to have. This is actually Growls, and he is my Harass Kubro. So basically, if you guys don't know what a Harass Kubro is, just take a look at this. He has the ability to turn you invisible, and for a pretty good length of time. Basically, the way that you want to be able to trigger that is you just disengage from combat entirely. Don't try to hit anybody, don't do anything, just kind of run away from him for a little bit, and he'll proc it. And you can actually get in the middle of a group and trigger either a Tempest Barrage, go into your puddle, or even just charge up your Tentacle Swarm right in the middle of an enemy horde, and it is pretty awesome. So I don't have any of these mods maxed, I don't believe, so I have linked shields, so I can actually have a pretty good amount of shields on him, about 1,897, jeez. He'll be at about 2,000 whenever I actually get him up all the way. Next, I have Shelter, which is pretty nice. Creates a little shield whenever you're actually reviving players. Hasten Deflection for shield recharge. Pack Leader, because I actually do get a pretty good bit damage and use out of Bow Prime, especially now that I have a lot more bulk and can go straight into the thick of things without having to worry about stuff as often. So a percentage of my melee attacks heal his health, so that's good too. Maul for an extra 270% melee damage. I have Animal Instinct. This is something you have to have for companions. Like, I don't think there's anyone who runs a companion without this. 30 range loot radar and 18 enemy radar. So pretty simple stuff. Bite for critical chance and critical damage. Pretty awesome that they included both of these in one mod. So you don't have to do one mod for crit chance, one mod for critical damage. Kind of nice. And then, of course, I have Link Health. So I have him at a good, wow, 1,551. That's actually a pretty impressive total. And I actually am going to have to form him again. This is with 4 forma on him so far. So I'm going to at least have to forma him, I want to say twice more, but to be honest, I get a lot of use out of him. I have the upgraded segment for Kubros. Excuse me. So I get a lot of use out of him, and he is just the best. And who is that? I don't know who you are. I can't accept your request right now. The name sounds very familiar, and I'm gonna feel bad because I don't remember who you are. I'm pretty sure it's a friend of mine from way back, but yeah. But I'm gonna actually get into a mission so you can see how everything just works in perfect harmony. So let's go ahead and go to the Void. Let's see, where do I want to go? You know, I think I want to go to Mont, because I want to test Hydroid's new bulk specifically. And since I don't have to defend anything or anything like that, all I have to do is worry about a percentage meter. I think that's going to help me out in the long run. So let's go ahead and get that queued up. And I am doing this solo, so if I screw up, it's all my fault. Yay! Right, so I actually made a boo-boo. I thought that I was good enough to solo on that, and I am not quite good enough even with all of my bulk, because that is definitely a mission that is made for more than one person. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ophelia and do it, because it has a nice watery aesthetic for Hydroid Prime to be complemented by. So we're going to do that, and you guys are going to be all like, dang man, you ain't nothing because you's a bitch. You can't even solo that. Alright. And I haven't been on this tile set in a pretty good while too, so that's another reason to kind of come back here. There's water everywhere too, like... Alright. Yep. Bet he wishes he didn't do that now. Ooh. Well then, you're all dead. Well, if one of you was dead. After my dog was done with you, that is. Okay. Yeah. Ooh! That was like 3 of them. Alright. So... Go ahead and get on over to... Oh no! Don't wanna. Alright, cool. So now that we're all nice and secluded, let's go ahead and kill those guys. Yay! Killing guys with tentacles. Boom.
Life support incoming.
And plop, 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 God, you gotta love it whenever you can just get a whole bunch of people near a door and just unload a bow like this into them. Or, well, any bow in general can really do this. Like, I think it's a little bit easier with the impact and puncture-based bows like the Paris and the Cernos in particular. I think it's a lot harder with the Dread because it just likes to slice enemies apart. Which ain't bad if you're into that, but I mean, like, being able to use one shot to take out a whole bunch of people, and then also have the utility of having multiple shots that can function in the same way, I don't know, in my opinion, that's pretty good to me. I'm actually going to go in a little bit of a strange order as far as showing you guys what my weapons can do. I'm actually going to go with the bow, and then I'm actually going to have a lot of fun with the Staticore here in a minute. So let's go ahead and get on up, get down with the sickness. Yeah. Oh, they're so good. Get out of my way. Alright. Bam. I always like doing little survival missions like this, especially ones solo and everything like that. It's kind of nice. Makes you feel like you're in a against the world kind of thing, or you versus the world, basically. Which I guess, like, no duh, but I think another thing that's kind of fun to do every once in a while is, especially whenever you have friends who are new to the game. Whenever you actually get them and you go on like the Earth extraction mission and you just tear ass through that entire mission, just slaughtering stuff, and they're just like, oh my gosh, and then you're just like, what, whatever, man, this is just a regular day for me. This is what I do all day, day. And borderline it is, like, whenever you get, like, the hang of your Warframe and weapons, it pretty much just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of, I'm a murderer. Everything. There's that channeling effect of the Targus armor. It's a shame I can't get the Targus Prime chest piece doesn't look as good on Hydroid Prime. The reason for that being, for some reason, everything likes to hang a little bit lower on the chest of Hydroid Prime, and I think it's because of the way his helmet is done, and they didn't want anything to really clash with it. However, at the same time, I mean, like, that should kind of be the choice of the player, which is kind of why I made that video about some things that I would like to see in Fashion Frame. I think one of the things that we should be able to do is, like, we should be able to choose, like, the positioning, within reason, of course, of our accessories, like our armor and stuff like that. Like, the ability to, like, move the chest piece, like, just a little bit, like, up or down, I think would make a really big difference. The ability to, like, kind of tilt it, like, this way or this way. Oop. If you guys kind of get what I mean by that. Like, being able to roll it, I think, would be the best way to actually do it, so that's actually more form-fitting to each Warframe would be good, because, like, you can't get it, because I don't think the developers can get it perfect for every situation, but if you give the users the ability to make that decision, then hey, everybody's happy. And then, like, the other thing is, like, you could actually have an option where you could actually scale the attachments. Just a little bit, though. Like, of course, you don't want them to be, like, super huge. Like, maybe you can shrink or size them up by, like, about, let's say about, like, 10 to 15% in size. Let's just use that as a measurement. I think that would be pretty awesome. Actually, that's actually a really good question of the day. Yeah, do you guys, do you guys have any Warframes that you guys use accessories, would like to use certain accessories on, but they just don't look right for whatever reason because of, like, the positioning or, like, the scaling of them, like, the size is just wrong or something like that? definitely let me know, like, the combination of actual Warframe and then the armor pieces that you guys want to put on there, but for some reason look a little bit off. Because I think that's something that happens from time to time. It's not often, mind you. It's not very often, but it happens. Alright, good old-fashioned static core action. Alright, let's see how fast we can do this. Oh my god, the static core. Get off my energy. I hate you. Don't take my energy. There we go. This is a lot more doable for me. And these guys aren't necessarily pushovers. Like, they can damage me, but I'm gonna kill them before they kill me. Because I'm a man. Because now I'm a man. That's how it felt whenever I actually looked at the stats for Hydroid Prime and saw that he was tied with Frost Prime for highest shields. I was just like, and now he's a man. Some people are like, oh god, why'd you have to sing that song? Because now I'm getting flashbacks to the days whenever I would go onto 4chan and see a random thing from /F, click it, and it would be, now you're a man, to the tune, or basically put as music to a little looping clip of a dude sucking his own, yeah.
I've delivered another life support
yeah.
capsule.
And you aren't even meaning to find it, and then somehow it just is there, and you're just like, why would somebody do this to the world? Alright, let's get a little bit more power heavy. In case you guys didn't watch my little video covering the Hydroid Prime access, this is pretty much the difference with the tentacles. Much more colorful, borderline reminiscent of before the Hydroid rework. But I definitely like the tentacles, and as you can actually see, they kind of have like a little. Let's see if I can get them back real quick. As you can kind of see, if you look closely, they're like these sharpish kind of tips to them. Like they're kind of pointed at the end, which is kind of nice too. One thing that I am a little bit disappointed about, and like it's just a small gripe, and it's not even that big a deal, is I wish the little Kraken creature that came up from the ground would have actually had like gold tinting on it or something like that, or some kind of golden like prime reminiscent or prime kind of prime accents on it, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that would have been a nice little touch onto that as well. But I remember seeing this is actually kind of off subject. Well, it kind of is on subject because we are covering Hydroid right now. There was a review on the forums for Hydroid Prime on the actual Warframe forums, and he kind of mentioned something that was interesting. He said, like, it's going to be hard to actually want to use anything else for a little bit, and I do agree, because I bet that for a while, probably Hydroid, or, well, not Hydroid, probably Frost Prime felt like that. A really useful, really defensive and bulky Prime that looks really awesome. And has a rework a lot of people actually dug, so yeah, it's kind of nice. And I've been seeing people level up their new Hydroid Primes and everything like that. I'm just like, oh, you guys are figuring out the glory of the Tentacle God. Ah, no! I can't resist knockdown every time. I'm not perfect. What? That sounded weird. Whoop. Bye-bye. See you later. I actually kind of wondered where the trailer for Hydroid Prime is, because every other Warframe got a fanciful trailer. Where's the Hydroid fanciful trailer, DE? How about you answer that question? Where's my boy's trailer? Doesn't he deserve a nice fancy trailer where he summons the Kraken, and maybe the Kraken swallows like a Grenier corpus stewed whole or something? I think if they were gonna do, I think if they are still in the process of making it, they should really make it to where like he's plundering a Orcan ship, because we haven't ever seen a Prime trailer where a Prime actually goes up against Orcan enemies. That would kind of be interesting to see. Unless they're waiting for more reasons for that to be the honor of Excalibur Umbra, which I could see that if they're gonna do that. I don't know. Gonna definitely get in there. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. There's a little counter to show you how many enemies you have in the puddle. I didn't know that that was a thing. Something else I noticed too is I don't know if this is because of like a change in the rework or not, but it seems like you can grab people from further away with your tentacles, and also it seems like you're able to grab them a lot more quickly and a lot more like in succession. Go ahead and get Tempest Barrage going. Yeah! Oh god, look at this pile of bodies. Oh, that's so cool. Alright. You know what? I think we've actually had our bit of fun, so I'm actually going to go ahead and start heading out. But I wanted to thank you guys so much, everyone who's been subscribing, because I've noticed that a lot of people have been subscribing ever since I actually really started getting into this series of What's My Loadout. The series is not going to be over, but it may have some dips in between, honestly, because I'm getting to the end of like just my Warframe collection in general, because there's only so many frames that I actually really use and stuff like that. But ooh, continuous misery. Oh, status duration. So, just expect more general Warframe content. Of course, I'm going to cover upcoming major content like the Plains of Ilum whenever that gets in. Whenever Glassframe comes out, I'm going to do that. Any special events that happen, like during weekends or something like that, I'm definitely going to cover that. So, if just... there's going to be a little bit less Warframe content, but it's not going away in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'll do something for Warframe at least once a week now. But, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, like I said, to all the new subscribers, and hopefully if you're watching this and you're, like, oh, I want to subscribe to this guy, then thank you, too. So, just to recap, question of the day for you guys. What is a combination of, or what is a Warframe that you really want to use certain accessories for, but you just can't get it to work, or the positioning is like really weird? What's the combination, too, of Warframe and accessory or armor piece? So I would really like to know that, because that would be an interesting thing to know, like just how frequently that pops up. It could just be me. It could just be me for all I know. But I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about the matter, because it seems like with Hydroid Prime, with with his chest attachments being lowered more just so that it doesn't get in the way of the beard, I think it would be an interesting question to ask. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Ostuni signing off. Yeah!